We're going to dive into installing OpenSky on your website or blog. So I'm going to talk through all of this, and then tomorrow morning in the email we will also send out to everyone a link to a tutorial that also walks through this full process. And if people are still confused, let us know, and we can even post up a video tutorial if we need to, of just a point-and-click follow-up. At the same time, I do want to include a caveat that we know that this can be improved, and so we're working with the development team to build new tools to make this a lot easier for you. But for people who are looking to get this set up, putting the OpenSky distributed commerce system on your own website or blog is a two-step process. So the first step of the process, and they're both a little bit technical, but we've done everything we can to make them as simple as possible with some simple copy and paste code. So the first step of the process is you're a seller, you want to log in to OpenSky, and from your account, you want to go ahead and click to add OpenSky to your site. It's one of the green links in the green bar to go ahead and install OpenSky on your website. When you do that, that's going to go ahead and take you to a page that includes links that are specific to different blogging platforms, and then a general link on the right side for everything else. So we've got WordPress covered, we've got Blogger covered, we've got Typepad covered, and then a general link for everything else. The code that we provide you on that page is a universal code that puts OpenSky's distributed commerce system on your site. It's a code snippet similar to Google Analytics. The distinction is you want to go ahead and take that code snippet and put it on your site somewhere near the top of your pages. When you drop that code on your site, you'll know you've done it right when you see text appear on your site that reads shopping cart, and it looks like a hyperlink. That is actually a link, and what that code is that's the shopping cart code that every user will see as they're browsing and purchasing products from your website. They'll see that, and they'll be able to click on that link to actually get into their OpenSky shopping cart. As they add products to their cart, that link text will actually change to include a number indicating how many products they have in their cart. So again, if you want to think about something like Amazon.com, where as you add products to your cart, you see in the upper right corner a cart icon with a count of how many products you've added. This code will give you the same thing for your own website. So you go ahead and drop that code on your site, save the change and view it, and you want to make sure that you can see the word shopping cart with a hyperlink right there on your site. If you don't see that code on your site, the most likely candidate for a cause of problems is that some blogging platforms and content management systems don't allow JavaScript, and we're using JavaScript to make this happen to power the intelligence within our system. So you want to take a look at that and make sure that your system allows JavaScript. The most likely candidate for not allowing JavaScript is if you use WordPress.com. Again, that's WordPress.com, the hosted version, not WordPress.org that you can download. But if you're using WordPress.com on their site, they do not allow JavaScript. And so we are talking to the people at WordPress about adding that onto the sites directly. You want to go ahead and add that code to your site, make sure you can see the link, and then at that point, you've got OpenSky set up on your site. Now the next step is, now that you've got this universal code set up on your site, is anytime you find a product that you want to sell, go ahead on the OpenSky site, you click the Sell This link on OpenSky, and it'll bring up our two-tabbed window that includes the questionnaire of how you're going to use the code, and at the bottom includes the code snippet. That code snippet on that questionnaire is specific to the individual product that you want to sell, and when you paste that on your site, that adds the Add to Cart button to an individual page. So we'll back up for a second and go through this again. There are two steps to this process. First, you log into your account, and you click the Install OpenSky on My Site green button at the top of your page. You get the universal code, and you add that to the header of your pages. As you're adding that, one other thing you want to pay attention to is make sure, because that is actual code, make sure that you are in HTML mode. So if you're using a web-based editor or you're using WordPress or something like that, make sure you switch from the visual editor to the advanced or HTML mode and paste it in that version. You drop that code in there and save it, you see the shopping cart, and then you're off to the races. Then every time you want to add an individual product to a blog post or something, you go ahead and you click Sell This. You grab the code, you go back to your blog or website, and drop that into your blog post specifically, and that will actually populate the Add to Cart button. You'll know that you've done that second part right, because when you click, once you save it, when you click Add to Cart, it'll launch OpenSky as an overlay, hovering right on top of your site. If there's an error or mistake, you'll know that there's an error or mistake, because you'll still see the button, but when you click it, instead, it will launch OpenSky in a new window. So new window, something's gone a little bit wrong, we need to step back and fix it. If it's an overlay, you've done it exactly right, and everything's set up. And again, as you're pasting this code in there, you want to make sure that you are in advanced HTML mode, not in any sort of visual editor, because the visual editors will remove our JavaScript code or will output code on the front end. So that's sort of the high level. It's a two-step process. And then once you've done that, once you've put in that universal code in that first step, you can go and find as many products as you want, and every time you want to add a new product, you just click Sell This, grab the code, open up your blog post, drop the code in place, and you've got the Add to Cart button right there on your site. So that's sort of the high-level overview. We'll send out a link in tomorrow morning's email that actually walks through step-by-step the same process in written text, which will hopefully be a little bit easier to follow. And if you're still having trouble, let us know. We can answer specific questions via help@shopopensky.com. And if we need to, we can also post up a point-and-click video tutorial. So I don't know how many people we have on the call, but if anybody is on the call and you have a specific question about this process, go ahead and unmute your phone, introduce yourself, and ask it. We can take one question, I think, before we wrap up. Any questions about installing OpenSky or the technical side, getting that set up on your site?
Hi, guys. This is Kathy at Homework Shop.
Hey, Kathy.
Hey, quick question. Your instructions said we needed to put this in the widgets area of WordPress, so we don't really need to do that. We can just put the code wherever on the site. Is that right?
Yeah, that's a good point. So we suggest widgets because that's a great starting point. If you're not very technical, you can open up the sort of text widget and the HTML widget and just drop it right in there. But if you are feeling comfortable editing your template, for instance, or you're using a WordPress theme that includes some text entries for other parts of your templates, you can put it anywhere else.
Okay, great, because we don't really use the widgets, so that would be really helpful then.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a great point. And I'll update the tutorial so that that's really clear as well. Thanks for pointing that out.
No problem.
All right, so with that, we're going to wrap up. If there's a lot of interest around this topic specifically, and people would like, we're happy to set up another call where we can walk through things step by step and answer questions with a smaller group. Just go ahead and let us know. So with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. We'll send a follow-up email in the morning to everyone with notes, and we'll let you know as soon as we've got the next town hall call scheduled. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, guys.